Guys, the market is in a very shaky place still, and there are some major events you need to know about during the next couple of weeks and months. So today I am going to talk about that. And so far this year, the crypto markets have experienced some crazy volatility, and while some of it has been due to unpredictable circumstances like the collapse of Luna and UST or Celsius becoming insolvent, a lot of the volatility has been the result of events we knew about ahead of time, such as FOMC meetings, the release of inflation data, and other things like that. Unfortunately, not everyone has the time to do research ahead of time to know when these major market moving events are coming, which is why today I will be covering a series of events that you should be aware of as we start approaching the second half of this year. While it is not always certain whether an event will cause volatility to the upside or the downside, it can be helpful to simply know that there will be volatility. Otherwise, if you see Bitcoin or Ethereum crashing or pumping, you are left unsure of what caused the move and whether or not it is the start of a larger move you should be positioned for, or if it is just a short-term reaction to news. So this video is definitely one you want to watch all the way through so you are prepared for the rest of the year. Before I get started, make sure to subscribe and activate the bell icon so you do not miss out on more videos like this, as well as everything else I post here on the channel. These events are going to be mostly in chronological order. So up first, we have the SEC's decision on whether or not the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust can be converted into a spot ETF. This decision has a deadline of July the 6th, and it is fairly standard for the SEC to wait until the deadline to announce their decision. However, there is always a chance it could become a bit earlier, so with only 2 weeks to go, it is worth keeping an eye out for. As you likely know, the SEC has a history of rejecting spot Bitcoin ETF applications, so you are probably wondering what could make this time different. There are a few key factors at play that have some people convinced that Grayscale actually does have a chance. First, SEC Commissioner Hester Peirce released a public statement last week calling on the SEC to stop categorically denying spot Bitcoin ETF applications and start taking a productive and cooperative approach to regulating crypto. With the major decision approaching, it would appear as if this public statement was an attempt to gather more public support for an approval. However, if we take a look at some other information, we find conflicting stories. The Grayscale premium is near its all-time low of 30%. This means that if you purchase GBTC, you are essentially purchasing Bitcoin at a 30% discount, but with no way to directly redeem it. If the trust were converted to an ETF, that gap between the price of GBTC and Bitcoin would close, essentially giving a free 30% profit. That would be a great trade. So if any large players saw a high probability of the ETF application being approved, they would be buying up a GBTC here, which would show up as this discount actually decreasing, but that has not been the case. One more important factor here is that Grayscale has gone ahead and brought on a top lawyer and further expanded their legal team with the intention to go to court and fight a rejection if one is handed out. Moving on, we can take a quick look at the schedule for the upcoming FOMC meetings and the release of future inflation data. In past years, these types of events were not much of a concern in the crypto markets, but with crypto now so heavily correlated to the traditional markets and those traditional markets fixated on inflation and the federal funds rate, they have become reliable sources of volatility for us to pay attention to. Luckily, they are scheduled well in advance so we can be prepared ahead of time, either by hedging or just being ready mentally to take action or hodl. The FOMC meets 8 times annually, and 4 of those meetings have already taken place. As you can see, each one is spread across 2 days, but it is the second date we need to pay attention to, as that is when the new rate is announced and Powell gives his press conference on expectations for the future. As for inflation data, known as CPI prints, these are released every month. It is important to note that each month the data being released is for the month before. For example, the next CPI print will be released July the 13th and will tell us whether inflation went up or down during this month, which is June. This data is tightly connected to what the Federal Reserve decides to do at each meeting, so it can help give us a bit of insight as to what to expect. Of course, As we approach these events, I will also cover anything important and how it could affect the crypto markets here on the channel. Something we do not yet have an exact date for, but it is expected within the next several months, is the Ethereum merge. This is something that has been delayed multiple times in the past, but we are reaching a point as to where there is a fair amount of certainty around its imminent arrival. The merge has already been completed on the Ropsten testnet, which is the testnet most similar to mainnet Ethereum. Something some people have been pointing to as a sign that the merge may be taking place closer to the end of the year is that the difficulty bomb was recently delayed again. Basically, that just means that the period for which proof of work is feasible has been extended by 2 months until August. Vitalik has previously stated that August is when he expected the merge if everything went well, but that it could be delayed to September or October if necessary. Either way, when it happens, it will be the largest upgrade to the Ethereum network since it first went live. Not only will it transition Ethereum into an energy-efficient blockchain, which will make it more accessible to institutions bound by energy compliance regulations, but it will also greatly improve the ETH tokenomics. After the merge, issuance of new Ethereum is expected to be significantly lowered to the point where fee burns will cause overall deflation for Ethereum. One more thing to be aware of is that, contrary to some FUD that has been circulating, the markets will not suddenly be flooded with Ethereum being sold following the merge. Right now, about 10% of the total ETH supply is locked in the staking contract, but that Ethereum is not immediately unlocked after the merge. Rather, it will become available following another upgrade roughly 6 months after the merge, and even then there are mechanisms in place to ensure that everyone does not unstake all at once. One more important date that you should be aware of, but that does not mark a specific event, is the weekend of July the 4th. The reason for this is outlined here in this article from Arthur Hayes. He explains that there is going to be one more major panic dump or cascade. At his best guess for when it would occur is the weekend of July the 4th. Lining up around that weekend is the end of the second quarter and the first rate hike by the European Central Bank. He also points out that the Fed will be fully in the process of selling off the assets it has designated to shrink its balance sheet. Not only does this affect the traditional markets from the selling, but it also contributes to the decreasing UST liquidity. If prices continues to drop, certain crypto funds and platforms could be left with the option to either close withdrawals to users, such as what Celsius did, or sell off their crypto holdings to raise fiat for redemptions. Typically, volume and liquidity are already lower during the weekends and bank holidays because the TradFi players are inactive, so any single event such as a fund dumping, a big platform closing withdrawals, or some large liquidations could be enough to start a panic dump. Then, because banks are closed, no fiat would be able to be deployed to fight the sell pressure until Tuesday, July the 5th. Of course, this is a fair amount of speculation, but it is definitely worth being prepared for in case it does turn out to be correct. Something else I want to cover today is the sponsor of today's video, and that is ECTA. ECTA is a layer 1 protocol with a focus on bringing real-world assets onto the blockchain to provide a tangible value and utility to the crypto industry. They recently raised $60 million from GEM Digital Limited, a VC that is known for investing in blockchain projects with strong utility. The ECTA blockchain is unique in that it will support the first self-developed hardware device that serves as an endpoint node and will allow anyone to start earning daily rewards in the native ECTA token. As you may know if you have ever tried to set up a node for a different blockchain, doing so can be a confusing and technical process that is inaccessible to most people. These hardware devices, known as ECTA portals, are plug-and-play devices, meaning that anyone can use them to start earning ECTA regardless of their skill and experience level. The ECTA portals not only make running a node more accessible, but also makes the ECTA blockchain more private, censorship resistant, reliable, and decentralized, all while using up to 75 times less power than other node programs thanks to their mini PC design. If you want to run an ECTA portal for yourself, the earlier you start doing that, the more you will earn, and I will explain why in just a minute. First, to obtain the ECTA portal and activate it, we'll need an ECTA portal NFT. This collection of 10,000 NFTs were created using the GAN NFT AI and give holders automatic whitelist access to all the ECTA's ecosystem of NFTs, products, airdrop, incentives, and pre-sale events, along with serving as the activating portal hardware devices. The whitelist for this NFT collection is open now, and the sign up page will be linked below. If you sign up and participate in the pre-sale, you will actually receive faster access to your portal and start earning first. Once the first batch of portals is activated, there will be 10,000 ECTA in daily rewards available, which will be split between the active nodes. So if you are among the first to activate, then you will be earning a greater portion of those daily rewards. This chart gives an idea of how much you could be earning with different numbers of active nodes and at different prices of ECTA. Additionally, for each portal NFT you buy, your rewards will be multiplied. If you hold 3, you will earn 3x the number of ECTA with your node. Each NFT will be $650 payable in ECTA, USDT, or Ethereum, and as you will notice in the description, there are separate whitelists for which coin you want to pay in, so make sure to choose the correct link. If you want to do some more research, there will also be links for that. Thank you so much to ECTA for sponsoring this segment, and I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.